Canadiens de Montréal sont fiers de repêcher from the Slovakian national team and TPS Turku, Juraj Slafkovsky.
Caulfield trying to get it in. Scores! Another beauty for goal! Caulfield!
Welcome to the show. It's your boy Louis.
And it's your boy Gibby. What's going on, people?
Plan the parade. Plan the parade. The Habs are going all the way.
Mm-hmm. It's,
What do you mean, mm-hmm? I need some more enthusiasm.
I'm always the realist. You know that. You know this.
The Habs are going to win the cup.
Buddy. Come on. Come on. You guys are not serious.
Okay, fine, but we've gone up against some of the best teams in this league.
Yes. We have
And
one
beat
game.
them.
Yeah, listen, amazing. Love it. I'm here for it. I am. We're playing exciting hockey.
Not ready, though.
We'll see. Listen, if we make playoffs, anything can happen. We've seen it before. We'll see it again. Anything can happen.
The answers are in the room, man.
The answer are in the room.
So the Habs are officially in the mix.
Yeah.
That's what management wanted. That's what we heard at the beginning of the year. Didn't look so great the way we started. Looked like we were going to be a bottom feeder team. They picked it up. Now they're officially in the mix. So tell me, what have you seen from the team, and can they keep it up?
So right now we're out of I'm just pulling it up right now. So we're out of a playoff spot. We're currently behind Ottawa, who is behind Columbus and Boston for the 2 wildcard spots. We are 2 points behind Columbus with a game in hand, and then we are 3 points behind Boston with 3 games in hand. And we got a couple... What is it? Tomorrow we got Dallas in Dallas, and then what is it? Saturday we're in Montreal at home.
Yeah, against that.
And then Sunday we play the Rangers. The Rangers have been...
They're starting to play better, but...
Yeah. And then we got Tampa. Those are good. Those are 4 fucking solid games. Those are solid fucking games.
I'll be honest with you. This whole year, or the last 3 weeks, have been all pretty tough games.
Yeah, like with the occasional like Chicago's and whatever.
Yeah,
but
Seattle,
this is like from the...
Is it Seattle? No, it's
Utah, because they're similar colors.
Yeah, dude. I don't know why.
I did the same thing yesterday. I did the same thing yesterday because I saw... Fuck, who was it? I saw Logan Cooley on the ice.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what the fuck? He's on fucking Seattle? I was like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah.
So no, I get it. It's that like light, like water blue, I'll call it. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Which is weird. Why would you choose such similar colors?
Yeah.
For the 2 new franchises? Like, that's weird.
I think, yeah, Utah also needs a fucking, like, name.
They will. They'll get it.
Utah hockey team.
The Utah Jazz. You like that?
Yeah, that's not bad.
Team.
Yeah, I know. Let's do the Utah Comets.
They have Utica Comets already.
That's why I said.
Gotta choose something else. Like, I don't know. They'll figure it out.
Okay, so what have I seen from the Habs? I've seen a lot better defensive game. That is the key for me. I mean, fuck, when we spoke about it in the beginning of the year as to why they were struggling, they were giving up a lot of high danger chances. I mean, at the end of the day, high danger chances, they're high danger. Higher percentage of goals happen in those areas. So I'm seeing a lot of perimeter, like, containment. They're contained to the perimeter more than they were before. And honestly, the line, all lines are clicking. It seems like everybody is finally settled into a role. So it's good. And honestly, I also like how I think Marty's starting to, you're slowly starting to see Marty develop, like, his coaching. What's the word? Coaching tendencies, we'll say. And he's slowly starting to whip it up, and I really like how we've been playing the last, let's say, 15 games. We've been pretty hot. I think we're in the last 13. I think my buddy showed me, was like 10-2-1.
Yeah, it's
which
crazy.
That's insane, man.
They've been playing very good.
Yeah. I like, and we'll touch on him a little bit, I like how Dach has been playing as of late. Seems like his confidence is up. Caulfield's finally starting to show his scoring touch again. Suzuki looking good. Newhook's fitting on that second line. Although
Not getting the numbers, but
he's working.
Yeah,
he's working. Even yesterday, like his pass to Laine, I feel like it was a beautiful pass.
And he hit. I think he hit a crossbar or post or something.
Yeah, like I don't like. Listen,
He's been playing well.
In a perfect world, Laine Newhook's going to drop down to the third line. Demidov is going to come in next year, slot into that second line or first line. However, he's going to slot into the top six, dropping down Newhook. So I'm not too worried. I think Newhook, regardless, looks good. And then honestly, like just that, like I said, the defense, that addition of Carrier is just,
it's crazy,
thing of beauty, man.
I've never seen like a so-called depth defenseman come in and make such a huge difference. And
Impact.
I really think that it's crazy that Nashville let him go, like to see how good he's playing here. I don't know if it's, French guy coming to Montreal, he's playing better, or, again, Nashville has a pretty good group of defensemen over there too. So, I don't know what it is that's kind of happened, but man, he just such a good player, like just solid, like, and not only defensively, but even offensively.
Yeah.
He makes good passes. He got 2 assists yesterday too. Like, smart player, doesn't not a big guy, but plays tough.
Yeah, he's like Josh Georges.
Yeah, I like the comparison to Georges, but more
skilled offensively.
Yeah, more skilled.
Of course.
Damn, if you would say, "Hey, man, we can trade Barron for more skilled Josh Georges,"
let's do it. Sign me the fuck up.
Because we love Georges, but we always wanted a little more from him offensively, right? Because he was good defensively.
He was a horseback
guy, but no offense. This is the guy. This is the upgrade on Georges. So super, super impressive. Now, do you think this is sustainable? Because obviously the ebbs and flows of the ceiling, ups and downs, do you think they can sustain what they're doing right now?
I don't think it's more of like sustaining. I think it's more so maintaining a consistent effort. So I don't see us winning at the pace that we're winning for the rest of the year. I feel like we might drop 1 or 2 more games here and there. I will tell you one thing. I was very adamant on finishing bottom 5. I think that's long gone because I do think the Habs are over the hump in the season where you're going to see like the first 15 games of the year where they were absolutely garbage defensively. So yeah, like I as much as I'd like to see them finish bottom 5, like I'm here for it, man. I'm here for the ride. I'm here to see where it takes us. I don't see it being, like I said before, I don't see it being this, like they're on a hot streak. I think they'll cool down. They'll still play consistently well. But I think they're just riding out a hot streak right now, and then they'll slowly temper, but they'll still be competing. I mean, teams like Boston are slacking hard. I don't see Columbus maintaining a good pace as well.
They don't look bad though. I don't know. Like,
no, they don't look. They don't look
teams.
terrible. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think in terms of, like, I guess we can say sustaining in terms of the consistency, we'll say. But fuck, like I'm excited. Like I'm excited to see them play Dallas, because that Dallas game we played them last week, it was a really good game, like almost like playoff vibes. So I liked it. So I'm excited to see how tomorrow's game is going to be, because we are recording right now. It's Wednesday, January 15th. Yeah, like, but I'm really excited to see how we fight. Like, fuck, we're getting hot, and the Leafs are on Saturday, and we all know we got to beat the fucking Leafs, man.
Dallas beat the brakes off the Leafs yesterday, so
what was it, 4-1?
Yeah, so
yeah, fuck you guys.
So it just shows you, right?
Yeah,
the Habs are playing right now. They have gone toe to toe with the best teams in this league, and did not look like they don't belong. You know.
Yeah, and all my boys are like chirping me. Like, a few of my boys are like saying like, "Oh, you guys aren't even fucking good. Your prospects are still garbage." Blah blah blah. And
yeah.
In my head, I'm like, yeah, okay, like I can understand where you're coming from. Like, you don't watch the games the Habs play, and the construction of the team is not an Austin Matthews or a Connor McDavid type. Will we have a star? Yeah, he's coming next year. I think Demidov is going to be a great fucking player. I think he's going to be a star. I don't see him being a McDavid type, but I do see him being a game changer. I do see him coming in and altering this team heavy. But yeah, like I think a lot of people doubt the Habs, and it's simply because our team is not made up of those superstars, and it's more of a, we have stars, but we're also built with what's the word I'm looking for here? Like, more like evenly spaced out. Like, it's more consistent throughout all 4 lines and all 3 pairings.
Yeah.
So we'll see, man. Like, we'll see if we can sustain it, but I don't know. Like, I think
Lane Hudson. I hope Lane Hudson puts on a show in Montreal against Toronto, just so they can see what kind of stars we do have coming up, because that kid is a stud. He's number 1 in the NHL for passes completed to the slot. Like, the guy just creates.
He's different, man. And I will say on this podcast, speaking to a bunch of my buddies, and I have a Habs group chat with 2 of my boys. I will say I was very skeptical of Lane Hudson. The reason being, I mean, like, let's be realistic. He's not a big boy. So it was like, Can he transition from the college level to the NHL level? And you know what? He's been doing a fantastic job. He's so fucking agile. He's so shifty. He's just, dude. Whenever I see him play, it's just, I get a smile. I'm like, fuck.
You know, I think too. I was kind of like you too. I wasn't expecting a lot.
I wasn't expecting this off
I've
rip.
heard this before. This puck moving. This guy's got this and this. You know, I didn't know what to expect, and I didn't really see a lot of Lane Hudson in college. Like, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of like tuned out of hockey during that time.
Yeah,
but wow, the kid has exceeded my expectations. He's a true talent. You know what I mean? And for me though, I'm happy to see the Habs in the mix. From what I've seen from this team is consistent play. They have been a tough team to play against. They really, all four lines rolling. Like, I find that they take a while to warm up in a game. First periods haven't been the greatest, but when they turn it on, and they've been finishing these games strong, whether they lost or they won. They really were in it, and obviously it took them a while to get that hybrid system, but now they know it, and they're playing pretty good. They're not making as many mistakes. They're not giving up these terrible chances like they used to. So that's defensively. Obviously getting Patrick Laine back, kind of evening out the lines with Kirby Dach as well, starting to pick up his pace, and just the bottom six turning into one of the best bottom sixes in the NHL. The way they're playing right now, probably producing, I know the fourth line is the best fourth line in the NHL, but even that third line they've been doing their job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just been finding them in these last 15 games playing consistent hockey. And that's why, I don't know, like maybe it is sustainable as long as they can keep playing like this. And we haven't seen, like, how you see like one stinker. That hasn't really happened in the last
It hasn't.
15 games.
It hasn't.
Like, even in a loss, they were playing their game consistently. That's what's kind of left me a little optimistic, where, like, you would have a couple good games, and then all of a sudden it's the Habs that we saw at the beginning of the season, right? If there was a couple of those games mixed into this, I would be a little more, worried, I guess, about how they're playing. But, man, it's just been super impressive. Everything, for some reason, I got to give so much credit to Martin St. Louis, because when we were complaining and telling him to do this and do that, he stuck with it. And look at a guy like Kirby Dach, who's finally getting his feet behind him, finally getting comfortable out there, and he looks a lot better. He finally looks like he's finding that game, that guy that we saw, a season ago.
Let me ask you something.
If it was up to us, we would have buried him and killed his confidence.
Let me ask you something. Where do you think the turning point was of this team?
To be honest, I think it started to happen with Montembeault starting to play after. I find that once Montembeault kind of got the announced to Team Canada, he started to play better. But I really think that, like, I don't think nothing major changed. I really think that behind the scenes, Martin St. Louis just kept working on these players, giving them a chance, letting them work through their mistakes. And I don't feel like he's changed much. Like, we've seen it. So he tried to juggle the lines a little bit here and there, but then he just, said, Slav, you're going to the top line, and we're gonna work on this, and we're gonna make sure that all you guys get better. And that's really what it is. I think it's just a consistency of his coaching that really made the biggest difference in all this. But of course, Carrier, as soon as Carrier came, everything just kind of evened out. Every defenseman kind of fell down, sat back one chair, and of course, getting a superstar like Patrick Laine back, that's a huge boost. You know what I mean? In the lineup, the guy, power play specialist, scored his first 5-on-5 goal, and I find even 5-on-5 he's been getting better. You can starting to see him take that puck and kind of skate through players. It's not 100% there yet, but it's getting better. So there's a few things, but I think really most credit needs to be given to Martin St. Louis, because a lot of coaches would have, buried Lane Hudson because he made too many mistakes, or buried Kirby Dach because he was just struggling. He didn't. So that's huge on a coach. That just shows you his style of coaching works.
So I have a theory of where the actual point of where the Habs made a turn. What day was it now? December 12th. We played the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Okay. Yeah,
we lost 9-2. Absolute embarrassment of a game. And I think it was they gave up like 6 in the third? Yeah, they gave up 6 in a third.
It was a good 40 minutes.
They gave up 6 in the third, got embarrassed. I think at that point, Martin St. Louis probably blasted everybody in the locker room. Said, boys, are we going to fucking play? Are we going to actually put in some effort? What's going on here? And I think management also said, fuck, 9-2 is embarrassing. Our defense looks rough. We need to add a piece. 5 days or 6 days later, when did Carrier get fucking acquired? December 18th. Carrier got acquired. So, what is that, 5 days later? 7 days later? I don't know how to do math. 6 days later. 6 days later.
Yeah.
They acquired him. I think that was the turning point of the season. Was that 9-2 loss. And I think management realized, listen, we got to turn a little bit of this around, or else this is going to be really embarrassing. We're going to get embarrassed heavy. So yeah, I think that was the turning point. Was the 9-2 Pittsburgh loss. Turned heads for everybody. Made everybody realize, fuck, we don't want to be like this.
Yeah. For sure. But even coming out of that, like, I didn't see. I think the players, yes, probably said, okay, enough is enough, guys, and maybe that woke them up. But I didn't see like huge changes. You know, it seems like Martin St. Louis has been consistently, just teaching the same stuff. He could have easily went away from the hybrid system and gave up on it. But some of the best teams in the league play that hybrid system. And now when you watch it, it looks like it works, right?
Yeah.
I think a big turning point, though, was Lane Hudson on the first unit of the power play, too.
That as well.
That kind of turned that around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Carrier for sure is the number one thing, just because everybody on the D board looks better.
Dude, Cooley looks like a whole new fucking player.
Oh, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Even Savard being a third pair guy now.
Yeah, everybody is in their roles now, and it's perfect.
And with, what's his name? Matheson and Hudson together, actually, I think is the best thing that could have happened to either of them.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah. It is crazy. Weird. Like you would think on
two
paper,
offensive guys. This is
like we should not put these guys together, but them together is crazy.
But if you think about it this way, like Matheson doesn't have to be that offensive guy anymore on that pairing.
Right.
So he's able to kind of focus a little bit more on his defensive game, but you also know he still has the offensive upside. Like he had a goal and an assist yesterday, and
also he has the legs to get back into the play.
Mm-hmm.
So if Hudson pinches and gets caught or whatever, Matheson is one of the fastest guys skating today. You know what I mean? He's quick.
Yeah.
So he can get back. I think that's a great asset to him. You don't want a slow slug playing with Lane Hudson because he will jump in. Maybe the forward is a little late to cover, but you still have that second defenseman coming back.
Yeah.
So, and Lane Hudson, I mean, he's no slouch. He's not slow.
No, he's not.
He's not the fastest. He's a little bit of a choppy skater, but he's good. You know what I mean? And I find that his mistakes have been a lot less lately.
I saw a stat. I think it was like the first 15 or first 20 games, he was like minus 11. And now he's a plus 9 since his last 15 games or some shit. Or last 13. I don't remember, but
yeah.
Dude, what a difference. What a difference.
Yeah, he's cleaning it up.
And a lot of his like for the like you know me, I don't really like plus minus. Like there's some, like for example, I think Hudson was on for 3 or 4 empty netters. So like that's a -4 on empty net goals. So that's why I'm not overly I don't look too much into plus minus, but obviously it holds some value, but like fuck.
Some, yeah, but not like,
Yeah.
But I think it will, by the end of the season, will come down a bit just because of how much better he's been and the points that he's creating too. But yeah, again, that's such a weird, plus minus is a shitty stat. Nobody cares about it. Now, things have been great, but not everything has been great. Slafkovsky maybe leaving a little bit on the table, leaves us wanting more from him, even though he hasn't been playing terrible. Now, yesterday we got to see Slafkovsky versus Logan Cooley, guys who are in that same draft class. You know, Slafkovsky's got 4 goals and 19 assists on the year. Cooley's got 12 goals, 25 assists on the year. So they squared off. If we had to redraft today, are you taking Cooley over Slafkovsky?
No.
You're not.
No. Why would I? Explain to me why I should. On the Habs, it just doesn't make sense. How big is Logan Cooley? Do we know? He's probably what? Maybe max fucking 5'10"? No, he's 6 feet. 6 feet, 190 pounds.
I mean, 6 feet is not bad. It's
he's average. But I don't want that on I don't want that on a team like the Habs.
Right. So you're still not taking Cooley over. I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. I saw him. The kid's talented.
I'm not taking that away from him at all.
Yeah, he's talented. He looks good. Am I 100% sold that, you know, he's going to be better than Slafkovsky? Of course not. You know what I mean? That's way too early. Slafkovsky had a better season last year than he did, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Cooley had 44 points and Slafkovsky had 45.
But if you redraft today, right, like Slafkovsky, Simon Nemec, Logan Cooley.
Sorry,
Shane
last
Wright,
year he had 50.
Shane Wright, Cutter Gauthier, David Jiricek, Kevin Korchinski, Marco Kasper, Matthew Savoy, and Pavel Mintyukov. Those are your top 10. And let's not forget, in that draft, we had Lane Hudson, 62 overall. You redraft today. Is Lane Hudson number 1 overall?
Yeah. Has to be.
Right?
To be. Has to be, dude.
Maybe not because of his size still, but maybe. I like, if it's me, I think I'm taking Lane Hudson first overall.
I'd probably take, like, with what we know now.
Yeah.
What we see, 100%. I'd have to.
Now, I still think Slafkovsky's a top 5 pick. Logan Cooley's a top 5 pick. So, I don't know. Like I said, what do you, like, are you having doubts with Slafkovsky and about what his ceiling could really be in the end?
I don't think so. I think it's a mental issue for him. I think it's more of a mental thing. I think he's such a hard worker that there's just little things that he can do to improve his game, but he's just overthinking it. Like, for example, like when he's skating, I feel like it's almost like he's not moving his feet enough, like to gain the positioning on guys or to gain, like, he's a big boy. Like, use your fucking body more. Like I said it when we drafted him. I pictured like a Rick Nash type guy, like a little bit less skilled Rick Nash, but just the size of him, how dominant he was, like that's what I want. Obviously, I would like a John LeClair type, but like, let's be real, it's not gonna happen. Yeah. But dude, I feel like he's in his own head. He's overthinking the game, which isn't a bad thing. At such a young age, the fact that he's so locked in shows me that he's dedicated to getting better and dedicated to being what he is, which is the first overall pick. He's still young, man. He's what, 21? I think he just turned 21, or he's turning 21 soon. Let me see, actually.
It wasn't a great draft.
He's turning 20. Yeah, it wasn't. He's turning 21 March 30th. So like, yeah, he's still young as hell, man. He's still so young.
Yeah, he is. He's still got so much time. And the thing is, he hasn't
it's just
been playing
minor.
bad.
It's just minor. Offensively, he hasn't been great. Like, he's got 23 points in 40 games. So he's going to hover around that 50-point mark again, which you don't really want to see.
Yeah, you want to see him get better and better every year.
Yeah, you want to see like the progression, similar to how Suzuki is, or has been. apologies. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm not overly worried, but like I am starting to get like that PTSD feeling of like, fuck, like,
Yeah.
did we fucking miss?
We can't get it right. We just can't get it right. You know what I mean? And
Like, we got the first overall pick and we didn't pick the right one. But like, I truly
but it's
do
such
think,
a bad, like, it's a shit draft, dude.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a
luckily
shit
we got
draft.
Lane Hudson because Lane Hudson saved our draft.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a shit draft. I just think that the generational talent or the superstar talent wasn't there. I think it was a more depth in that draft than anything. Like, you were able to draft Lane Hudson in the second round. I don't know, man. Like, I think people are getting a little bit frustrated with Slafkovsky, but I think he's just as bad with himself. I think he's overanalyzing, he's overcritical of himself. And again, that's not a bad trait to have, but something's got to give. I think we'll see if he finally hits his stride. And we'll see what's up.
At this point, though, what is a successful season for you? Like, what do you want from him? Because, you know, like, the goals haven't been there. Only 4 goals. He's still got half a season to go, right? Like 40 games. Would you like to try and see him get to that 20 goal mark at least, right?
I don't see him getting to that 20 goal mark, to be honest.
I mean, he can get on a hot streak and
listen, he's also like, he's putting up offensively. He's putting up. He's got 19 assists. So he's gonna hover around. Yeah, he's gonna hover around like the 45-point mark. So he actually might take a little bit of a regression, which I'm sure is a little bit normal at such a young age.
yeah, like, you know, his first season injury, that doesn't even count. So this is kind of really his sophomore season, you know. And I know yet last year was his sophomore season, but it wasn't because of the injury. You know what I mean? So this is his true sophomore season. So is this the sophomore slump? Because most guys are coming into the league. You know, he came into the league as a 19-year-old and got injured and missed a lot of time. So last year was his first real season. It was a good one. This is really the sophomore slump.
Yeah.
This could be the sophomore slump, even though technically he's not a sophomore. But on the numbers, based off the numbers, this is his sophomore season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that's what it is. It's just that little sophomore slump type of thing. I would like to see him just finish strong. Let's see him try and get to close to that 50-point mark.
Mm-hmm.
I think if he can do that, stay healthy, continue on that path, and then we see what's going on from there. Because I really do think that he's still getting stronger, and I feel like once this guy is strong and comfortable in his body, because I don't feel like he's comfortable in his body yet. He's still such a young kid.
Yeah.
You know, in the next 2 years, you're really going to see him be that man, you know what I mean? And be comfortable in his frame and try to really figure out what his role is. Because there's times where he doesn't, I don't feel like he really knows the kind of player he wants to be in the NHL yet, right? And because, again, when he was young, he was probably able to use his size to his advantage a lot more. He was bigger, stronger than everybody, you know what I mean? Now he needs to figure out what kind of player he wants to be in the NHL, because he can't just be that bulldozer in the NHL. There's guys. It's a different league. So who are you going to be in this league? That's what he needs to find out, right? And I think that he's got the skill. He's got a good shot, got good vision, good passing. And when he is skating, he is a problem. So, but I feel like right now he still doesn't know what kind of player he is. So,
or what he wants, what type of player he wants to be.
Right. I feel like he's not knowing, because you see the spurts. You see sometimes he goes and he wants to shoot, or sometimes he wants to pass, or sometimes he wants to play a physical game. But every night it's different. You know what I mean? He hasn't really figured out who he is and what he can do.
He hasn't really figured his identity in what he wants to be in the NHL.
And I believe that Marty will work with him and figure out who you are in this
That's
league.
One thing about Marty that I've noticed very highly is he's very good at figuring out the rules for each player, and improving on their role. Caulfield became a two-way player. Anderson, Gallagher, you're starting to see, even though they were regressing for the last few years, they're playing their roles well. Evans,
They found their role, yeah. And and let's not forget, like, okay, Caulfield came in, played his 4 games, right? Then he came in the 21-22 season, right? 43 points. Then he played 40 games in 22-23.
Yeah.
And he got 36 points. And then this year really is the year that, or last year, 65 points. But this year is really the year where you've seen everything come in. You know what I mean? And it's like he has kind of went through those trials and tribulations. Like his first season wasn't the greatest. And then he kind of regressed in the 22-23 season, but it was a condensed season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was and he didn't play that many games, but it was a little bit of a regression, right? But this is the year where you're starting to see him not be a minus player, because he was a minus player in all those other years. He's already got 42 points. He's racking up the assists, now too, where it's like everything is really come into form. And I'm sure there was some times where Habs fans were a little bit nervous about Caulfield too. Like, is this guy going to ever be that guy that we want him to be? Now we look at him and we're like, he is that guy. Right?
You're that guy, pal. You're that guy. I think also his shoulder is finally fully healed, man.
True, yeah.
I'm sure that's what's going on too. His shoulder is finally fully healed. He was able to, he did his physio after the surgery and stuff, but I'm sure this last off season was where he was able to finally work out properly without worrying about re-injuring or re-tearing anything that he retore. And you're starting to see it. Like, fuck, he's on pace for 50 goals this year? Like, hovering around that 50 goal mark, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, we're looking good, and I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so you're not giving up. Again, like I said, I trust Martin St. Louis. We've been saying this about a lot of players this year. He's been able to turn them around. One of those players is Kirby Dach, of course, and he's heating up. So what are you starting to see in his game? He's settling into his role, and is he going to be the second-line center of the future? What are you seeing?
I'm not going to touch on him being the second-line center of the future. Obviously, I would like him to be. I'm not going to touch on it because I don't know. I don't know if we've seen enough from Dach to say that he's consistent enough to be that number 2 center. Does he have the potential to be? Yes. I mean, let's be realistic. That's why we got him. Why the Habs acquired him to begin with. What I'm seeing is a confident Dach. He's skating with purpose. Last night, that goal where he came in and tucked it around the goalie, it shows that he's not. Usually, he would cower away and kind of look for that option. Like, he would kind of slow up at the sideboards and he'd look for another option, but he was like, fuck it, I'm driving to the net and I'm giving her, and we'll see what happens. And even his second goal yesterday, his shot, like, wasn't a great goal.
Little deflection, but
listen, it works. And it was a good shot. Like, it wasn't a bad shot, but it's just those types of things are things that happen, and it'll keep the confidence going, and it'll be like, listen, these are things that maybe I got to start doing a little bit more. Even if that shot doesn't go in, you give up a rebound, you gain the zone entry, and you gain a face-off if the goalie recovers it and smothers it, whatever. It's just those little minor things to his game that you were slowly starting to see. My only knock on him still is he needs to start using the body a little bit more. I feel like he's using he's still taking bad penalties.
Yeah.
He's a stick guy. Buddy, yeah. You're like 6'3". Like, use your body a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
fucking, he swings that stick around like fucking Hulk Hogan swings the fucking American flag.
Yeah, man. Like, he needs to stop. He needs to stop, dude. Because, like...
Yeah. A little bit lazy with the
And
stick.
costly. Like, timing.
Yeah.
Terrible timing to take
Oh,
penalties.
fucking poor Pizzetta, bro. The guy's been eating popcorn for weeks. And then he comes out and just fucking... He's got more penalty minutes than ice time in like the last 3 games that he's played.
Yeah.
He's a rough go for the guy. Poor guy.
It happens, man. Did you see Savard?
To be honest with you, I know this is messed up to say, but
I love it. I'm here for it.
I kind of hope that... Why didn't Pizzetta get hit by the cars? No, but prayers up to my boy Heineman, man. Because he's been such a good player. Did I lose you?
Why would you say that?
No, I didn't mean that. It was just a joke. I'm not wishing harm on anybody. I like Pizzetta, too. I do. It's just I feel like he's had a rough go, and it's not his own fault. Sometimes when it takes a real seasoned veteran to be able to just
Get hit by a car.
Lineup. You know what I mean, though? Like, there's certain guys who can just check in and out of the lineup. I don't think Pizzetta's at that point in his career where he's that kind of player yet. You know, he doesn't have enough experience to be a guy who could just come in and out of the lineup. You know, he still kind of doesn't know his game yet, really.
Yeah.
So it's been tough. This guy.
Should have been you,
yeah.
buddy.
Kirby Dach, though, I've been impressed with him. I think faceoffs are starting to get a little bit better. Not the best yet. Penalties have been a problem at times, but I can see him getting comfortable. You know, and when he's comfortable, he's a big guy, and when he comes down that wing and decides I want to go to the net, it's not easy for defensemen to defend that. You know, a big guy coming fast like that, he's got hands, he's got skill, he's got it all. I think it took a while to come, and I think it's weird because a month ago he takes that shot and that's not going anywhere near the net. The goalie swallows that up. But yesterday takes a shot, takes a deflection, goes in the net. You see how things just change. You know, and when sometimes the bounces go your way and when your confidence goes up, sometimes the puck just goes in the net. The first goal was a beauty.
Yeah.
Just comes in, comes right around them too, and tucks it on the other side. Like, beautiful goal. Vintage him. You know, he scored 2 like that already, I think, this season, where he just uses that body and that long reach, you know. So I think it's a good sign that he's starting to pick things up because... And that line altogether has been a lot better. You know, line 8, Dach, and Newhook. Newhook is really kind of that the firecracker on the line, the guy who kind of brings the speed and really is kind of the guy who's making that line run, I think, a lot better than it is.
He's the engine.
Yeah, he's the engine of the line, really. And I think he deserves more credit for that. But, yeah, this is a good sign. And when we spoke a few weeks ago and we're like, what is going on with this team? What does this team need? We said right off the bat that a second line center and a defenseman. And Kirby Dach playing well, and Carrier comes in, evens out all the lines, and there you will have it, right? And then they're kind of figuring it out, and goaltending was another issue. And Dobesh he's been the man. Like, he's come in, he's played great in his starts, and Montembeault I feel like has to play a lot better now, knowing that he has this young, good goalie behind him. You know what I mean? He knows that the net is not guaranteed to be his. With Caden Primo, it was guaranteed to be his.
No one's taking that.
Caden Primo is a superstar in the AHL.
Let me look at his stats.
I think he got a shutout the other day. Like, guy's on fire down there.
Get his confidence back, boys. Get it fucking
Yeah, the
back.
game just slows it down. He needed that too. It was just best case scenario for everybody. And
oh, buddy. 2 games, 0.5 goals against, 977 save percentage. Bring him back.
That's what I'm saying.
Bring him
He's
back.
a stud. He's a stud.
Bring him right back, boys.
He's ready.
He's ready.
And I think keep him down there for the rest of the season.
But he keep him down there for the rest of his career.
Dobesh is not going to have a great game every game.
He hasn't had a bad game yet,
start.
bro.
He hasn't had one yet, but we're not going to expect him to be great every game.
No.
He's going to have a bad start. But from what I've seen so far from this kid, the confidence in the net, and somebody I was listening to, I forget the radio, I don't know if it's TSN 690 or whatever, and somebody was watching him at practice, and they're like, when he gets into his, when he gets down and into his stance, the top of the net is not open. He uses that 6'4" frame a lot better than Montembeault or Primo. He's only 1 inch taller, but I don't know. Maybe he's got a bigger torso. Whatever it is, dude. Maybe he's got shorter legs and a bigger torso.
Maybe. Fuck.
Whatever it is, I'm telling you, when he gets down, that top of the net is not as open. So again, uses his size very well. That's what I really like about him is he doesn't leave a lot of openings, and if he's almost one of those goalies where if he's got that, those big goalies where if they see the puck, they're stopping it type of thing. He's kind of that style of goalie, like the Ben Bishops, those types of guys back in the day where, like, fuck, this guy's a big guy. And we need to screen him. We need to take, it has to be deflection, has to be an ugly kind of goal, right? Where, because if he sees it, he's going to stop it. That's his kind of style of play, uses his 6'4" frame very well. And, having him has been a turnaround for us, too, because when Primo was in the net, that's a guaranteed loss. Mm-hmm. So he's already won, 3 games?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if he wins 3, he's won 3 games, that would make us from in our last 15 of like 10, 1 and 2 to fucking, 7, 4 and 2, whatever, you know what I mean? Like 7, 4 and 2. So it's not that good. We're not in the mix.
No.
Right? So just that good backup goaltending is enough to put us back into the mix.
I'm looking up his stats right now because I just don't want to be a bozo.
That's okay. Look it up.
Yeah, 3 games played, 3 goals against, 0.97, 959 save percentage, buddy.
Yeah.
Keep him there.
The guy's a stud.
Send Monty down. We got Primo and Dobich to fucking carry it over. Nah, man, honestly, it's a good problem to have when you have 2 goalies playing well. And I told you, man, listen, like, it's not 100% on like, the goaltending has been better. Don't get me wrong. But the defense has been playing better as well.
Yes.
It goes hand in hand. It does.
I must say that in all of Dobich's starts, the team played phenomenal in front of him. They did. Yeah.
And, like, dude, like, even, like, don't get me wrong, Montembeault still, like, even that goal yesterday, what was it, the second goal? I feel like that's happened to him before with the behind the back thing. Like,
he loses the puck easily. I told you that's one knock on him is he loses the puck when it's behind him for some reason. Like he panics and does weird shit. Like, he loses the puck easily. It's weird. But I'm not gonna, he made some big saves though yesterday.
He did.
Could have easily lost that game.
I'm looking forward to tomorrow though. I am.
He's still, again, like, I'm not 100% sold on Montembeault. Like, I still think that Dobich looks better than Montembeault up at this point. You know what I mean? And they're giving him the tougher matchups too. Yeah. They've given Dobich all the tougher matchups. But again, I can't say definitively that he's the better goalie, but he's played better for sure, in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But kudos to Montembeault. It's not easy being an NHL goalie, and he's had to fight through some really bad starts to really try and keep his confidence there. And I don't know if you heard, but like Dobich works with a mental coach and stuff like that too. Like, this guy I just love this kid. Like, he's something else.
Dude, I don't care what anybody says when it comes to sports. Your mental, like, sports are, you need the physical attributes 100%. but I'm convinced sports are 70 mental, 30% physical. Like in baseball, even when I used to play baseball, like when I was struggling for a long period of time, that was in my head, and I would just consistently struggle. When I was starting to fucking hit the ball and I was getting the confidence back, boom, you start seeing a fucking streak of hit streaks throughout the season. Like it's a thing, man. So if you're mentally there, like you're mentally good and you don't get rattled on a goal that goes in, if it's a shitter goal, like that's one thing I'll say. Like, I mean, look, fuck Carey Price. In my opinion, one of the greatest goalies of all time. Probably greatest goalie of our generation.
When his mental started to go, though, that's when his play started to go too.
But you're proving my point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
I mean, his mental was always kind of, but in the game,
I'm like that today
lights
with
out.
Call of Duty. If I have a bad round, man, I'm down on myself. I start getting fucking overwhelmed. Then I go out, it takes a couple kills. Once you get a couple kills,
you're back.
start to get your confidence back. Throw a grenade, kill 3 people. You're like, yes, all right, now I'm back.
I'm back.
No, but you know me. You've seen me in sports. I get flustered and I get down, and that's it. My whole game goes to shit.
Honestly, I've been so good with sports, like where it's just like, bro, whatever. Soccer,
I can let it. I'm like, I don't know what it is. Like when I and that's one thing. I don't know why. I've always been like that, but I can get down on myself, and like that's it. It'll destroy my whole game.
Yeah, golf, you're really bad with that.
Yeah, with golf too. It's like that's it. I give up. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, so I get it. The mental is strong. You need to have a strong mental.
So it's good. It's good that he has a mental health coach.
The mental coach, I think, is great for him, and I think that every goalie should have it. Every goalie should have it.
100%.
Maybe if Carey Price had it too, like that could have helped him down the stretch as well. I do think that Carey Price was a calm, cool, collected guy. I do think the injuries, the beatings he took, the painkillers, all that stuff is really what affected him down the stretch because he played through a lot. Like by the end of it, his legs were beat up. Like it was bad. Like I just heard stories of just how bad his legs were. Like it was insane.
Yeah. I've heard some stories as well.
Yeah.
Painkillers.
But okay, before last
booze.
one here. Who is the unsung hero on this team in your eyes? So pick one player, unsung hero. It's not Michael Pezzetta.
Fuck you, man. I was going to pick fucking Pezzetta.
I would have named him unsung hero if he jumped in front of that car and spared kind of.
That's kind of insane, dude. Unsung hero. Okay, what are you trying to look for here? Like
the guy who has been playing so well and doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
Maybe Armia.
That's a good candidate, yeah.
Armia's sneakily having let me look up his stats while we do this. But he's again playing in a role that he should be.
Yeah, not like a fourth liner, not having to be that guy, because we in the past have really tried to elevate him and make him a different type of player.
Yeah. Like, dude, in 43 games, he's got 19 points on the fourth line. Last year, first of all, he got sent to the minors last year for 8 games. Okay. Last year, he had 25 fucking points. He's on pace to beat those numbers. He's had 30 points in a season. 1 year. And that was the second year in the NHL on the Habs. And that was in 58 games. Let me see what his points per game average is. Like, he's on pace to have his career year. 36 points. He's sneakily having a good year, and it's looking good. And I feel he's a free agent. I feel if we can get something for him at the deadline, then do it.
Yeah, good depth, player who he could play up your lineup, not ideally. Good size, good skating, amazing penalty killer. I mean, he's always been an amazing penalty killer because he's a dual threat. You know, he's not only going to just kill the penalty, he will create chances and score shorthanded goals. Like he's that type of guy. You know what I mean? Where it's like you need to watch out.
Yeah.
Because they'll jump on opportunities. And Jake Evans, I think, has learned a lot from him, being his partner on the penalty kill and stuff like that. And that's a good unsung hero, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's playing well. And listen, this is his contract year. Re-sign him. We'll see if we can re-sign him. I mean, it's tough.
I was going to say mine was going to be Newhook because I do think that, you know,
he's having a good
stats
year.
aren't there, but he has been playing good. But I really think like Cooley, when Carrier came in, Cooley has just been
Solidified.
so solid. Like he's just played so well, offensively, defensively, really turning into a number one defenseman.
Yep.
A real top pairing guy. You know what I mean? And he's just, I don't feel like he gets enough credit for being that guy because he really is good. Like just such a solid player. You know, he brings a little bit of everything. He can hit. He can bring that big hit. He's hard to play against. He's got a good shot. And yeah, he just, I don't think he gets enough credit for being that guy, but he's like, you know, he's proving to be a top pairing guy. And that's another guy, you know, that what did we draft him late in the late first round, right?
Who's that?
Caden Cooley.
He was 20-something overall.
Yeah. So first round pick, but if you tell me right now that you're going to draft a potentially top pair right-handed defenseman in the late first round, you'll take that every time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm lying. He was drafted 16th.
Okay. But still.
Dude, he's still 22.
Yeah.
He's
But
still 22.
even that, too,
playing top
again,
pairing minutes.
We haven't had the best, you know, I think what's his name? Bergevin drafted Cooley, right?
Yeah.
So that's a Bergie pick. But again, you know, for him to be rounding his game and turning into what he's turning into, a important piece for the future. I really do think that this guy is going to be a number one shutdown defenseman in the NHL if he's not already that.
Yeah.
And it's only gotten better as let's not forget too, he was playing his offside. No wonder he was fucking so trash. They were forcing him to play his offside. Luckily the guy played that good for so long, you know what I mean? Like now that he's on his side, look how much better it is.
Yeah.
It's insane. So I give a lot of props to Caden Cooley. He's just one of those guys. He's like, to me, I don't know. Who would you compare him to? I mean, I'm not going to say Shea Weber, obviously, now, because, you know, Shea Weber is just beast. But who would you compare him to?
Maybe like a Petrangelo.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
I don't know. I don't like doing the comparison too much. But like, not too offensively gifted, has the offensive talent, but he's a
Petrangelo, I think,
good
has a little more
shutdown guy. Good shutdown guy.
But maybe like a McDonough style too, kind of, right? Like McDonough never was the big offensive guy, but he was more of a, you know, shutdown guy. He could be something like that. You know, McDonough took a while too to kind of get into his role, but then eventually we're like, wow, you know, why do we get rid of him? That's kind of the style I'm looking at. Like, but that's what he can be. He can bring that, just the guy that you put out there against the top guys.
I'm just trying to look up comparables. I can't find really any comparables, to be honest. Yeah, I can't really find any, but I mean, hold on, let me see. Caden Cooley stats. This was 2 years ago. Yeah, they're not really. I tried.
This is his first real season kind of emerging too, right? Like
What do you mean?
This is his first like real season where he's kind of taken that role and is the guy now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like this is his third year. Like he's only played 150 games in the NHL.
That's what I mean. But
like,
this
what's,
is like
what's the
real,
what's
like,
what would you say is the like benchmark of when you know what you have in like a player? Like they're proven to be. This is what it is. Maybe like 25 years old or 300 games.
I don't think it. Sometimes it takes. How many NHL games have they played?
So what would you say? Like maybe.
So like there's an age, but then there's also an NHL game.
Yeah.
NHL game. So I think after 3 seasons. So let's say, after the 150 game mark, you're gonna start to see who a player is. You know what I mean? And I think after 200 games in the NHL, you can kind of figure out the type of player they are, right? I think that's a big enough sample size. Now, some guys start younger. So I think by the time, it could take them till they're like 300 game to really become the player they are. But I don't know. For defensemen, I would say like between 24, 25 if they started early, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say 24, really 25 or like 300 games is where you see what
I
you
still
got.
think that it's not too late. Like for anybody that's in the 25 to 28, or let's say 25, 26, I would still take a chance on a player who's 25, 26 to see if he still can reach a higher potential. Now, if they're past 26, at that point, you know what you're getting. You know what I mean? I don't see somebody turning it on and becoming something else. Anybody that's like 26 and below, that's somebody I'm willing to take a chance on. You know what I mean? And maybe in a different system or on a different team playing with different players, they still can reach a different point. You know what I mean? But yeah, above that, they kind of are who they are already. But it's so situational in the NHL. You just never know, right? You could have been buried on a shitty team for 3 years and you've played 3 full seasons, but for the worst team, and then you go somewhere else and all of a sudden you're a superstar. So there's so many things.
Yeah. All right, man. This was good.
That was good.
This was good.
Love you too.
Love you too.
I just want to tell everybody, be careful out there. Do not look both ways before you cross the street. That's all I got to say. And prayers up to my guy, Emil Heineman, because he's been playing so good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I really do hope that he heals quick. And Michael Pizzetta, man, be careful too, buddy. All right, y'all.
See ya later.
How does it feel to treat me like you do? When you laid your hands on me.
Bye, have a great time.